Every time I start recording, I gotta find a spot to stand in for a moment so I can get the shit rolling. Most times I'm pretty much almost always in the street because it's the only place I can go where no one's gonna need to be in my exact spot. Yeah, I'm fucking already whining about shit. So man. Hilarious. The interesting thing here though is the speed at which they're whack-a-moling that song. Like anytime it gets uploaded, they take it right down. It's fucking crazy. It's like when he talked about what they could do to him, complaining about them, and then they did it to him in real time, and everybody saw it. And this song, Heil Hitler, is about what they did to him and what they continue to do to him. And as they do it, he how you doing? Boys doing all right?
Yeah, we're just like waving at your camera.
Oh yeah, no, it's cool. I'm just saying hi.
Yeah. You recording?
Yeah, I just do a YouTube
YouTube
thing. Yeah, the thechadti. I just talk about schizophrenic shit. It's all schizo stuff.
Are you from Hawaii?
Yeah, well, not from, but I've lived here for long enough. My wife grew up here. You guys vacationing or something? Or?
Yeah.
How you like it?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I won't put you on this if you don't want to.
No, you can't.
I can cut all that out.
You're good.
Cool. I just saw you guys sitting there, and I'm like, they look like they want to say something to me. You know? So I just stop and try to say hi. Have a good day, guys. Or good night. Yeah, so they were talking. They were talking. He was explaining what they're doing to him in real time, and then they did it to him. And then same thing with this song. The song, if you listen to the lyrics, it's about like how they took his. They won't let him see his kid, and a lot of other weird stuff in there too. He talks about how he used to perform fellatio on his cousin, because that's another song called Cousins that he has. It's pretty crazy. I think what he's doing is putting everything out there, the cuck thing, that they could embarrass him with, you know? And so I think he's like doing it almost like a Eminem end of 8 Mile thing. Hold on a second. He's putting it out there so they can't hit him with it. How you doing, man? I'm giving you a cigarette, just trying to find my cigarettes. They're here somewhere. Oh, too many jam pockets. Nope, not that one. There we go. How's it going, man? All right? All right, hang in there, buddy. God love you. Have a good night. I'm just friendly with everybody today. Yeah, so, because people are saying, like, why does he talk about being a cuckold, and why does he talk about blowing his cousin? And to me, it feels like he's putting the stuff out there that they could hit him with. You know what I mean? Getting ahead of it, or just putting it out there to say, you know, you can't touch me with this. And the song is fucking catchy, man. And you know, I know that it's funny because of the lyrics, and I understand the meme quality of it, right? But it's fucking catchy. I never really knew about his music. I knew who he was, but you know, the way things have become so fractured with music, like it talks about it before, people can exist in their own bubble of music. Like, I don't know what's going on in country music. How would I know? You know what I mean? Like, you create your own kind of environment when it comes to not just music, but entertainment. Like, you can tailor your whole environment to your interests. I don't have to know what's, you know, on Lifetime. And I grew up in a time when it was the complete opposite. You at least knew about everything. You at least knew about everything that was happening because, you know, you had TV and fucking radio and movies. And if you were erudite like I am, you had magazines. If you're a sophisticated guy, you had a Kerrang to read to keep up with music, you know. I didn't do the NME. Fuck that shit. I like all the bands they feature, but they're just kind of snooty over there. But Rolling Stones, shit. There's not many good magazines. But yeah, so you had a certain amount of media that you could like engage with. And if someone had a hit record, like you knew about it because it was played everywhere. Even if you didn't like it, you caught it. You had some awareness of it. In this new sort of, in this newfangled, in this sort of newer century, you don't. I couldn't tell you what a Taylor Swift song is. I couldn't name. Oh, Bad Blood. Okay, I know that one. But how would I? I mean, the only time I would hear something like that, or Kanye, is if I was in a store. You know, someone playing at the store. And that's it. So, I'd heard of Kanye, of course, for years. I know who he was, and he was just a guy that would say outrageous shit. But I've never heard any of his music. I'm just not into the modern hip-hop thing, you know. Hip-hop with me stops at the Above the Rim soundtrack. No, actually, that song with... no, you know where it stopped? The Firm. That's where it stopped, with Foxy Brown. For whatever reason, me and my producer and guitar player, sometimes guitar player, were really into Foxy Brown. And I think Timbaland was in that too. No, maybe not. It was a couple of prominent people. They're in this thing called The Firm, which is funny to begin with because that's, you know, Jimmy Page's side band. But when that came out, like for some reason we were like anticipating that as like the next good thing. And it wasn't. It was bad. Before that, California Love, of course, was great. The Tupac Dre thing. But that wasn't centered around like an album or anything. I think it was. But it was Tupac's album. And I don't know. I don't like the Tupac stuff. It's sort of like girly. Kind of girly. A friend of mine was a, what do you call it? A producer, I guess you'd call him. He made beats for people. And he worked with Nas. The only stuff he ever got published with him was some B-side material. But he used to play me his, stuff all the time. Say, oh, you like this, you like this. And I don't know. It just, before that specific track, California Love, the last album for me in hip-hop is the Above the Rim soundtrack. That's where it stops. That's where it stops. You know, after that you had the song there, Tupac and Dr. Dre. And then The Firm came out, and The Firm was a stiff. It just sucked. And then around that time, after Biggie died, and of course, Love After Death is great, you know, and he's like, Biggie's probably the greatest of all time, I'd say. I mean, who's better than him? Eminem's good, you know, the early stuff. But all that aside, I don't know anything about Kanye West music to take a big... You know what? I might have to start this video over because I wanted it to be about that song, but I filled the fucking runtime up with a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, I wanted to stop and talk with those kids up here kind of looking at me. And this kind of thing happened yesterday. You know, I look a little outlandish at times. So I'm seeing them like looking, and then like as I get closer, they do that everybody be quiet thing. So it's just so awkward. So I'm like, just talk to them. And of course I had to figure out if they were on vacation. In my mind, I'm like, they better be on fucking vacation. Please be on vacation. They said they were, but they could be scoping the place out in the future. But yeah, so I'm walking up in front of Target yesterday, and the same kind of thing happened. A couple white guys, tourist-looking guys. They were like youngish, and I'm walking up the street, And one guy says to the other, and I picked it up, he's like, either a drug addict or a rock star. And as soon as he said star, he noticed I was looking at him and heard what he said. So it was like this weird moment. And as I'm walking by, he just owns up to it, right? He's like, drug addict or rock star? And without missing a beat, as I'm wont to do, I say, both. Everybody laughed. We all fell about the place. When she was cool, she was red hot. Who was that? What fucking how was lyrics show? I was just listening to them today at Thin Lizzy. Not to jump on train track 7 of this conversation, but that Thunder and Lightning album, it's fucking really good. But anyway, yeah, so the first thing I heard about this was I saw the studio footage where they're actually making it. The guy that was working the boards has his own YouTube channel, and he was releasing pieces of it. And then, so I saw that, like, I don't know, a week ago. And then I kind of forgot about it. I didn't know that it was going to be a single or something. He was going to release it widely. I thought it was just, he's venting in the studio, about his fucking situation. And then the video came out. And it was everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. And then they started yanking it from everywhere. And then no one could talk about it because no one could they could talk about it, but no one could show it. Oh, look what I just did. Bubblegum. But no one could show it, and they were yanking it down wherever it was. Which, it's weird because... I'm sorry, I keep trying to light this, but I quit. I'm done. It won't light. They had to have allowed it to happen, right, on some level, because if they were against this being heard, none of us would have heard it. I just don't believe that he bucked the system and snuck this one out and did a video and the whole thing, and I just don't believe that. I don't think... I think they have more control over him than that. He's ultimately there. He's their guy, He's still under their control. He's, there's just no way. But despite that, looking at it in kayfabe, in the pretend world, it's fucking hilarious. And it's good. It's catchy. It's kind of short, right? They only have 2 verses, 2 choruses, and then they're out. It's 2.5 minutes. I like a 2.5 minute song. In fact, I had a lot of 2.5 minutes. Well, it's punk rock, but this thing, those crazy background vocals, and then at the end they put the fucking speech in there. And basically, if you're wondering what he's saying, at the end he was just talking about asking the people to vote for him, basically. And what he's saying is, I backed you, right? If you think what I've done is valuable, this is what Hitler's saying. If you think what I've done is valuable, I need you to back me now, to vote for me now, to come to my aid now, to stand with me now, if you think I've done something valuable. So that's, the message from him. It is not a good look for them, though, to yank it everywhere, because it shows that they're afraid of it. I was about to say, have you ever? And I know you haven't, because chances are I've been alive as long as you have, most of you guys, and some longer. And I've never seen anything like this before, where they remove a piece of music everywhere it appears. I've never seen anything like that. Now, again, it's do I believe it's a real thing? No. Sorry, guys. I fucking, I gotta let that. But what I try to figure out is what the purpose is of it, because nothing gets by them. Nothing happens organically. Everything is allowed to happen. So I look at something like this, and I'm like, what is the point What are they trying to get across here with this particular psychological operation? And I know these days it's like fashionable for people, for YouTube talking heads to say like, everybody thinks everything's a psyop. Not everything's a psyop, dude. And I'm here to say, yeah, it is. It is. Don't say it's not. I mean, it's obvious you're a shill, but don't make it more obvious by saying stupid shit like that. It's like, that's the same thing as like, oh, everything's a conspiracy. Yeah, everything. You're in a carefully constructed fantasy reality. It's a show. It's a programming for you. And it runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 300 and whatever number they're on. And it's like, that's a big leap for someone to take, and some people can't get across that gap. They can't mind that gap. So, as far as I was going to say, you'll never reach people like that, but you shouldn't be trying to reach people anyway. The time of convincing anybody of anything is long over, if it ever really existed. And the more we've learned about people and different kinds of people, it's pretty much, my understanding that you were either going to be predisposed to see the invisible scaffolding or you weren't. I know in that paradigm there's three kinds of people: the people that can see, the ones that can't, and the ones that can when shown. I haven't found a lot of examples of can when shown. I mean, small things. Like I turned my dad on to the, not turn him on to the Mandela effect, but I got him to look at some stuff in a different way that he didn't look at before. The Black Tom explosion, just different historical events that he didn't remember. And the Black Tom explosion is a good one because that's what got us into World War I. Now, it's the new history. It was German saboteurs. I don't know if you know about the Black Tom explosion. It's ridiculous. Look it up sometime. It absolutely never happened. It's a new thing. I mean, it did now. It did in this reality. But when I was growing up and living in the world, it wasn't a thing. But I got him to look at that. And another thing, too, just generally, right? I was talking to him about looking at buildings. Every town has a little area, maybe downtown, where they got a town hall or something. And the town hall buildings and library buildings and all this stuff, these are all old world, Tartaria, if you want to call it that, construction. These buildings exist everywhere. They were all built in kayfabe. They were all built in the 1800s when people were starving and all we had were horses and carts. But don't worry, we figured it out. So that's kind of the angle I took on my dad, because there's where his office building was is one of these downtown areas, and there's a city hall across the street from this building. One of these buildings built in like 1888 or something. It's like a landmark in the area. The newspaper uses the building as its logo, and it's got this big tower, like this big clock tower, and then on top of the clock tower is this giant brass eagle that's just sitting there perched on top. And at one point a couple of years ago, they had to repair it. I remember it was a big project. They had all these machines, all these giant cranes, and all this stuff, all these men to I don't know if it was something was broken or they were just refurbishing it or something. And as this is happening, I didn't think twice about it. I was just like, oh yeah, they're up there fixing the thing. Because the veil was still very much intact. The scales were still on my eyes at this point. Same thing with the basement of his building, which is a whole fucking other thing too. I'll get to that in a second. But when I started talking to him about different stuff, pertaining to the Mandela effect and maybe some of the weird stuff about our so-called reality here. I was like, Dad, the Eagle Tribune building, whatever it's called. I'm like, when was that built? And I think he actually said the 1700s. Whatever. And I'm like, so back then we didn't have any of the machines or anything. We didn't have any cranes. We didn't have like electricity. None of that shit. We had buggies with wheels and fucking horses. How did they get that several ton structure to the top of that, beautifully crafted tower? The tower itself is kind of a marvel. It looks beautiful. Right after, around fucking Civil War time, there wasn't a lot of food going around. There was a lot of problems in the country at the time, supply problems of every kind. But at the same time, again, all you had was horses and carts, right? So how did they get? First of all, how did they fucking craft that eagle? What did they make that out of? It's like bronze. It's several tons. How did they do any of that? And he was like, I could hear it. I could hear it in his voice, and it's the sound of spells breaking, spellcraft failing. And he's like, Jimbo, I don't know. I never thought of that before. Yeah, how did they do that? I'm like, right? Got him thinking about that. But I don't think the family would want me saying stuff like that to him. I don't know. I don't really know what the situation with the atmosphere is around him right now with his girlfriend. And I know she's a friend of my sister's. They're both school teachers. My sister's wicked cool. I've tried to explain some of this stuff to her, and she believes that I believe things, but I think I don't. I mean, she's open to looking at stuff, but just some people aren't going to be able to deal with that. And sometimes if they see you trying to inform someone else about it, that can get them upset. Like, why are you bothering Dad with this crazy shit? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of careful about how I go about that. But yeah, that's kind of the only way. I did that with a couple other people too, just to look at stuff. As far as doing a presentation and, okay, here's the deal. We're in a snow globe. It actually goes under the ground too. So it's like a circle, but we call it a snow globe because it looks like a snow, I mean, how do you do that? How could you do that? I've thought about it before. I would have to, sometimes trying to explain to people around me. So even Nia, I'll tell her, I'm like, I wish I could put my brain in your head so you could just get the information without me trying to find a way to explain it, because there's so many moving parts to all this stuff that you have to put together on your own before you can even get to a conclusion that, may be reasonable to someone or at least sound coherent. It's just too much. All these things I've come to my conclusions took time. And then a lot of it too is just received information, found information, things that people get when they meditate. I don't meditate, but I get the meditate information through different ways, Usually in the shower, I get a lot of stuff. When I'm trying to fall asleep at night, that's when I do my, remote viewing shit. That all happens at night. It's during that time. That's when I get my downloads. Yeah, the remote viewing thing is weird. I had a little thing going on with that the other night where I was getting someone looking at me again. Usually I see a person's face and it appears. I talked about this all before, how it all works and how it works with me. but it's usually only a few seconds, a glimpse of a face that's always unfamiliar, but I get the impression that they know me, and always trying to make some kind of goofy face or a scary face, or they're looking at me like, or some kind of weird thing. And when I see these faces, the color and vibrancy, it's like a reality pushing through this. Like this is like a dirty screen door. And when I get visions from over there, as I call them visions, you know, to wake me up at night. Getting visions again. Shut up and go to bed. I gotta be out of here at 6. That's where I get my stuff. So how do you, not all of it, but that's why I get a lot of it. How do you pass this information on? You really can't. And for it to have an effect on someone that's even slightly profound, they have to discover it themselves. They have to come upon it themselves. Like even if I'm talking about something like here, before I talk about like the trafficking situation here, well, I kind of avoid that because that's, I talk about it a little bit, but I'm really careful about how I do that. I've uncovered some things I could never talk about. Never. Because like Kanye West's song, I would just be pulled down. Not because there would be any fear that by saying something I could possibly do something. Nothing can be done about this. They just don't want it out there in the world because it comes back to intention, like what I started this whole thing off with. You're putting your intent and your will out into the universe. By doing these videos, I'm very lucky that I have a good crew of you guys. A lot of you have been here for a long time, since almost the beginning, and that's very grateful for that. But the thing is, I've often said, like, even if no one was here, I'd still be doing it because it's not about people seeing it now. I mean, it's cool if people do, but it's that I am putting my will and my intent into the ether, into the air, into the whatever you want to call it. And it's registering protest. You got to register protest. It's the thing with the evil in the door. If evil tries the door and they can open the door, there's no one, trying to keep the door shut, they're just going to walk right through. Oh, they cleaned the Kang straw there. Remember that the other day? They had I've been keeping up with the Kang Town graffiti battle. It's another new thing we have in the neighborhood now post-COVID. But you have to say no, or you have to at least make your intention that you don't like it or you don't want it. You don't have to actually stop them. You stop them sometimes or slow them down just by bringing it up, just by saying it, just by, hey, what are you guys doing? Why are you coming through this door? And nobody says nothing. They just keep going. Door, next door. The evil just keeps going. So it's important to put your will and your intention out into the world. And it's a spiritual thing. It's on a metaphysical level. It's not a physical thing. I don't need people to actually see it, to actually watch it. It's cool that, people do and stuff. But it's more that I'm putting my will and intent out into the ether as protest, to say, hey, I see what you're doing, or some of us know what you're doing, and that gives them pause. Sometimes if it spooks them enough, they'll change tack. I've seen that happen before with just like psyops on 4chan. I don't know the whole story behind it, but there was supposed to be some kind of Super Bowl thing. Something was going to happen. I forget what Super Bowl it was. But anyway, someone had gotten some intel and they passed it on to 4chan. They started making a lot of noise about it, and all the markers that Anons were seeing that led them to believe that there was going to be some kind of thing happening started getting pulled away. they backed out of it, basically. They backed out of it because they were talking too much about it. Now, are 4chan users and no one's going to stop them from doing this psyop? No. They can't physically do it, even if they screamed about it on there all day. But they were putting their will and their intention into the universe, into the ether, and they were registering protests. Like, wow, what are, you know, just by discussing it and talking about it, they knew, someone knew, enough people knew to spook them. It's just like demons. The way to slow a demon down is to see it. They don't want to be seen. That's why the pharaohs kept cats around, because cats could see the different frequencies that the demons were on. So the demons wouldn't come around because the cats could see them. Not because they thought the cats were going to like fight them, you know, or do anything to them. Just being seen was enough to get them to flee. It's like rats or snakes or cockroaches. You put a flashlight on it and they'll scatter. You know, it's like that. Speaking of scattered, my brain's been splattered all over Manhattan. Shattered. Don't you know the karma's going up to live in this town? You must be tough. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. And I've been going for a while here. If you hung in with me this long, thank you. Thank you for dealing with my every minute trying to light this cigarette. Well, because what happens, you know, whatever. I'm not going to explain it. I light it and they start talking. It goes out. So I have to light it again. It's a filthy habit. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for stopping by and seeing me. Like I said, I was talking about how some of you guys have been here since almost the beginning, like for years. You know, that's awesome. I mean, that makes me feel really good. That's, you know, not to get gay about it, but I really do appreciate that. And if there's ever anything I could do for you that doesn't involve me leaving my house or really actually doing anything at all, I'd love to help you out. So, until next time, thanks for dropping in. And until next we meet, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.